Okay, my friends, here it is. You can harvest 3 times the amount of food from the same bed in the same year if you do it right. And that depends upon 3 primary principles. The first of these is that we must reframe our mind when we look at the garden and the food producing system. So we're going to use 2 analogies, and these are going to be very helpful in orienting your mind in such a way that you will have massive success in the upcoming years. So the first analogy is that we cannot view our soil or our garden bed like a box full of dirt, because that's just kind of like a lame, sort of dead thing. We need to view our garden box as an engine of food production. And so the goal is to keep that engine ramped up all season long. Now, you can have 2 different kinds of engines. You could have a old rickety lawnmower engine, or you could have a Ferrari, finely tuned and topped off with its fluids, well maintained, and producing a boatload of stuff. Or you can just kind of have a lame little tractor type engine that just produces some stuff. Yeah, okay, but nothing really special. Kind of a lot of work. You got to work on it all the time. Yeah, well, there is no question. If we are serious about our food producing engine, we need to treat it like a Ferrari and keep that thing cranking all season long. Now, the second analogy is that the garden is some of the most valuable real estate that you own. It is where you're growing the nutrition for yourself and your family. It is the cornerstone of your well-being. It is that important. For me and my family, there is nothing more important than our health, than abounding health and vitality. And we know that to get there, the food you put into the body is of utmost importance. And so that garden real estate is highly valuable to us. So with that analogy, let us look at it like real estate. Now, let us suppose you had a rental property. Thing number one, you want to keep that rental property packed full all the time. You don't want to have some tenants move out and then after they move out, you start thinking, hey, I better get some other people in there, I guess. Let me start doing some interviews and we'll get some other people in there. No, because every second that there's no tenant in that spot, then you are losing money. And in this analogy, you are losing health. You are losing the vigor of the potential of your garden space. You understand? So you want to treat it like a rental property in some ways. And before one thing moves out, you want to already have been interviewing for what's going to go in there. Okay? I will explain as we go on. So now with those 2 analogies in mind, let us move on to point number 2. And that is that timing is the multiplier. Remember this saying, guys, before you plant the first crop, know already what the third one's going to be. After hundreds of consultations with you guys and working in the industry for so long now, I know that one of the most common issues is that people just see a garden bed or any size garden, or big or small, doesn't matter, and they view it as a one-off. They say, okay, well, I'm going to plant cabbages there. And then after the cabbages are done, harvested, they didn't really have a plan. And then the weeds move in, and then the overwhelm happens. I see it time and time again. So that is point number 2, is to know already what is going to be the next crop and the crop after that, and what the next season is going to be like. That is how you maximize harvest. So for example, here in zone 5/6, northern Indiana, our growing season is roughly, last frost is May 15th, first frost is October 15th. That gives us 153 growing days. Now, if we take into account cold hardy things, that could give us another 20 days on both sides of that. So that gives us 193 days where we got to keep that engine of food production cranked up. Because if you do it right, you guys would be astonished with how much food you can actually produce. Even from this urban backyard, which is roughly 30 by 70, we produce an astonishing amount of our own food. Super high quality, nutrient dense, packed full of flavor. And now with the Viking growing system fully implemented the past couple of years, very little work. I mean, astonishingly little work. You almost feel guilty for how little work other than harvesting is involved. It's wonderful. And so if we are going to keep that engine of food production cranked up, and we're running at full capacity for 193 days, we have to do it strategically. Now that means in the springtime, we are going to start seeds. So here we start seeds about the middle of March, and that's going to be 8 weeks before the last frost date. And that's going to allow us to plant certain things out at certain times. You guys have already got the free Viking seed starting calendar, and that will explain the exact timing for your zone. The link is in the description if you still want to get that. But starting the seeds indoors and making sure that they are healthy and thriving and vibrant is what allows us to hit the ground running. As soon as the timing is right, as soon as the conditions are right, we put that stuff into the ground, and that engine of food production is off to the races. And we make sure that it stays full the whole season. Now, another way that we do that is that we start the fall crop outdoors. So here in zone 5/6 northern Indiana, with those frost dates that I just told you, we start the fall crop outdoors about July 1st. And then since they grow so much faster in the summertime, started outdoors, they only need about 4 weeks. So we start them July 1st to plant the fall garden on August 1st. That gives us, once they're in the ground, that gives us all of August, all of September, and basically all of October, and sometimes into November of food production. So that is actually a very long time to be growing food if you know how to do it right. So if we had just planted one thing in the ground, you know, after our last frost, we just get one little harvest. Instead, you can get 2 or 3 harvests, as I will explain the exact crops here in a moment. But another tip is, now listen guys, this is a major pro tip, okay? Took me a long time to understand this, and it's very valuable. So you want to have not only your spring started crops and your fall garden going in, you want to also have what I call buffer plants. And here's the reality, guys. No matter how good your system is, no matter what kind of master grower you are, plants die. I mean, plants just die sometimes for no reason. And even if your system is all set up so nice and you've got the pest control plants and all that kind of stuff, and most of the plants aren't getting pest or disease, some of them are going to get hammered. It just happens sometimes, okay? Or trampled by the neighborhood cat or whatever it is. So instead of just going, oh no, there's a vacancy in my garden real estate, you immediately have something on deck that you can plant into that spot. But it has to be a certain type of crop. You're not planting a tomato in that spot. You're not planting a pepper or something that takes all season, okay? The buffer crops are fast turnover things, mostly leafy greens. You can also do beets, but have them already started up. That's the ticket. Throughout the year or throughout the summer, you want to have a few trays of the buffer plants off to the side, maybe in a little hoop house, ideally, where if anything dies or anything is just underperforming, you can pull it and put something else in there. And that keeps that engine running at full speed. You'll be amazed at how much more food is produced when every inch is consistently utilized with the right system. Now, the third aspect of this system is that you must know your plants. You have to know your crops. For example, tomatoes, peppers, squash, pumpkins, watermelons, corn, flint corn, definitely field corn for like grits and stuff. Those are all full season crops, okay? Here at least, we are not getting a before and an after. Those take up, where you plant those, that's it for the season, okay? You can interplant and all kinds of stuff like that, but there's no more plants. I mean, they take the whole season, okay? So you have to know that going into it. But there's a bunch of crops that do not take the full season. For example, around here, garlic. We plant garlic in the fall. For the best results, you plant it in the fall. And it is one of the first things to sprout in the garden, and it is totally ready to go, ready to harvest by the middle of June, okay? Our season is really just getting started by the middle of June. So you have several options. You pull that garlic out, and instead of going, so just leaving it and the weeds come and stuff, no, here's what you can do. You have several options. One of the best rotations for garlic is to pull the garlic middle of June, plant bush green beans right there. You will still get a full, beautiful crop of bush green beans, several pickings from them, and then come late summer, terminate them, and you can even incorporate them back into the soil if you want, and then plant garlic again, okay? You can do this cycle indefinitely. This is a great cycle, all right? And soil conditioner, all kinds of good stuff. So that is one thing you could do. Also, though, after the garlic comes out in mid-June, if you know that you've got fall cabbages, which fall cabbages are different than spring ones. Fall cabbages are the big, like a Brunswick, Okay, the Brunswick cabbage takes a long time and it's very cold hardy. It can take, I mean, it's better after it gets snowed on a little bit, all right? So we can plant that after the garlic, and that will take all the rest of the season, all right? And that will ripen as the fall is coming and the weather gets cold and makes the cabbage sweet and buttery, super delicious. Also though, if you know your crops, that's what this part's all about. After you pull the garlic, you can get a full run of potatoes. Okay? But listen, we're not planting German butterballs, which are long season potatoes. We're planting a fast potato after the garlic, such as Norland Red, virtually any of the red varieties, or Yukon Golds or Irish Cobbler. Those are all very fast potatoes. You'll get a whole run of potatoes after that, okay? Likewise, if you're growing potatoes, you can have an early spring crop of Yukon Golds, and you can pull those and you can literally plant potatoes again in that same exact spot. But you got to know your crops. Those are fast turnover potatoes. Now, while those first set of potatoes are finishing, you can go to the organic store and just get some Yukon Golds. They sell them everywhere, and start chitting those so that they are ready to go. You want to chit the potatoes that you're going to plant mid-season so they're ready to go much faster. Like that, you can get 2 full potato harvests in the same season. Now, likewise, here, onions are ready about the middle of July. So we pull those out and then we can plant faster turnover thing, not the long fall cabbages, but we can plant things like komatsuna or mustard greens or yodfa or even Chinese cabbage for kimchi, or you could plant beets after that. You could also plant carrots. There's so many things once you know your crops. Or if you know that you've got 3 high turnover crops, let us say we do arugula, okay, in the same season. Early spring, we do arugula and then a run of beets. And then after that, we can do a run of spinach or a run of another various fast leafy green. Like that, you can get 3 harvests from the same bed. So guys, the point of this whole thing is that you know your crops, you understand that timing is the key to maximizing that space, and that you want to always have something ready to go. So as the season approaches this year, think of it with that framework. Valuable real estate, you do not want any open vacancy, all right? You need to start knowing what is gonna go in there before the other thing is harvested. And you want to keep that engine of food production ramped up all the time. So if this type of system thinking resonates with you, I think you will like to check out the Viking Growing System course. The link is in the description. It is a complete course that shows you exactly the system that I personally use to have the maximum amount of food output for the minimum amount of work input while we stay 100% organic. Because with a busy life, you don't have time to be out there in the garden non-stop battling weeds and failed missions and stuff like that. So I developed the course to show you guys step by step sequentially everything you need to know in order to achieve that result. Not only is it a complete system, but you get lifetime access to the Viking Tribe, which is the private community where I am in there every day answering the questions, as well as lots of advice from very experienced gardeners we have in that group. And it has only just begun, so it is growing all the time. Also guys, let us know in the comments what are some of your favorite rotations of crops that you have found beneficial for you. Let us know where you're growing from and what are your favorite rotations. So I will see you in the next video.